Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Friday, February 21st, 2025. A man on probation for domestic violence was arrested after allegedly forcing his way into his girlfriend's home in Yucca Valley and injuring her. On Sunday at around 10:15 p.m., San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies say that Michael McNeil Jr., 42, arrived at the home of his girlfriend in the 7,000 block of Mohawk Trail in Yucca Valley. The victim told deputies that McNeil was unannounced and uninvited, and he attempted to force his way into the home through the front door. Deputies say that while the victim was holding the door closed, she was struck by the door and suffered from minor injury. Deputies say that McNeil left the scene but was apprehended and arrested a short time later. In December, McNeil pled guilty to misdemeanor domestic battery and is currently on probation. Michael McNeil was arrested on suspicion of inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or date and violating a court order for domestic violence and is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $75,000 bail. Did you know that there is a monthly one-of-a-kind drag show held in downtown Yucca Valley? Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells with more on the regular local event.
In late January, I had the opportunity to attend Horse Girl, a monthly, theatrical, and wildly fun drag show held at the Tiny Pony. The event was created by Obsidian Absurd and her wife, Jill Hill. After moving from San Francisco to the Morongo Basin last spring, Obsidian Absurd says a trip to the Tiny Pony prompted the idea to curate a drag show that matches the unique spirit of the high desert community.
In San Francisco, it's very difficult to carve out your own niche. I won't say all of them, but a lot of them tend to be what you would expect from a drag show. But I'm a weirdo, and I like doing weirdo drag, and I think that there's an open-mindedness out in the desert that allows for these types of niche things to develop.
Horse Girl had its first show last April and has been held monthly since then. Its name was chosen to play with that of its venue. Obsidian Absurd is the front-facing host, while Hill runs many of the behind-the-scenes operations, including video and animations. While each show is different, the event features theatrical makeup, avant-garde performances, and eccentric themes. Many of its performers are based in Southern California. The founders try to keep the talent as local as possible, though some have been keen to travel from San Francisco for such a unique show, one that, as Hill expresses, has also garnered significant support from the local community.
It's incredible. Every single show we've thrown since the first one has been packed. There's such a need for queer art and queer presence out here, and we've made such an amazing community of folks.
The January show I attended was titled Back to the Fute Horse, a tribute to the classic 1980s franchise Back to the Future, complete with a Christopher Lloyd lookalike contest and a plutonium shot, proceeds of which were donated to support Los Angeles fire relief. The late-night indoor show had a sizable turnout, with both tourists and locals crowding to leave only narrow pathways for the artists. While the events are technically free, a $10 to $20 donation is suggested, which attendees eagerly paid via tips to performances of popular, crowd-favorite tracks by Cher and Chappell Roan. All earned enthusiastic applause. The audience's appreciation for both the art and the atmosphere itself was palpable.
What we're trying to do is show people that this is art, drag is an art form, and it does play with gender, it does play with queerness, but it is at the end of the day art. So the vision is to grow it into something of that variety and to keep bringing in amazing artists that represent the things that we align with and to just be unapologetic. We're not going to go anywhere.
Tonight's drag show is Horse Feathers, billed as a celebration of the absurd. The event will begin at 10 p.m. at the Tiny Pony Tavern. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
If you are concerned about your public lands and are looking for an easy way to volunteer some time this weekend, the Johnson Valley Neighborhood Watch are holding a trash and graffiti cleanup Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Joining us with more on the cleanup is public lands appreciator Robert Hayden.
The rocks on Ghost Road have historically been a spot for graffiti as well as illegal trash dumping, and last November, Johnson Valley resident Michelle Zoomstein had enough and organized the first graffiti cleanup, removing some of the largest, most visible tags and working with the BLM to put up signage, letting people know that trash dumping and tagging are in fact illegal, and most folks in the desert would rather not see the garbage and tags on the giant round Monzo granite formations that line Highway 247. A few smaller cleanups have followed since, but time and a little event called King of the Hammers has left the area in need of some major cleanup. The community effort starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, right off Highway 247 and Ghost Road. Supplies will be provided for the cleanup, but donations are always welcome. The area's rocks rival some of the beautiful formations inside Joshua Tree National Park, and Michelle says they could especially use volunteers who don't mind doing some boulder scrambling to get to the harder-to-reach tags and trash. Stop by for a minute or for the entire time. Any effort to help clean up the trash and graffiti will be appreciated. Check this story on our website for an exact location of the cleanup, along with photos and a report from the first cleanup in November. That's all at Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
Congressman Jay Obernolte is hosting a community coffee this weekend to receive feedback from the Morongo Basin community. Obernolte serves in the United States House of Representatives for California's 23rd District, which encompasses the Morongo Basin. The community event will be held Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center. Reservations are required. You can sign up at a link at this story at our website, Z107.7fm.com. A new art installation will soon become part of the desert landscape. Swiss artist Severin Guelpa, known for his deeply rooted works in fragile and powerful environments, has returned to Boxo Projects to unveil Dancing with the Sky. Reporter Hilary Sloan has details of this event.
Severin Guelpa's latest sculpture is a permanent addition to the desert, created from a large, locally sourced boulder. And split into several pieces, the installation interacts with the shifting sky, the cycles of light, and the ever-changing weather conditions of the high desert. The stone's reflective facets communicate with the land itself, mirroring the rhythms of the environment and paying homage to the region's geology. Guelpa describes his artistic approach.
My name is Severin Guelpa, and I'm what we call a visual artist. My practice really comes from sculpture, but with the idea of not really building sculpture, but using the natural elements, so the natural resources, in a pretty radical way. I think my art is a mix in between this land arts influences, very minimalistic work, working with earth, sand, stones, but at the same time trying to speak about people.
Guelpa's work explores time, land use, and human autonomy. He uses raw materials and industrial remains to highlight the delicate balance between nature and human impact. For those who wish to experience this immersive dialogue between art and landscape, Dancing with the Skies will be unveiled on Saturday, February 22nd at 3 p.m. at Boxo Projects, 62732 Sullivan Road, Joshua Tree. The event will feature an artist discussion, providing a deeper insight into Guelpa's creative process and the significance of his work in the vast desert expanse. For more information, see this story at Z107.7fm.com. For Z107.7, this is reporter Hilary Sloan.
And finally, the 29 Palms High School boys varsity tennis team traveled to Rancho Mirage to face the Rattlers yesterday. The Wildcats lost 4-14. In singles action, Jeremy Burks won 2 of his sets, while Audenoy Patu won 1 of his sets. In doubles action, the team of Reggie Jack and Dayon Matthews won 1 of their sets. The Wildcats host Desert Hot Springs on Tuesday and travel to Desert Hot Springs on Thursday. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.